As I was saying yesterday, there are a few things that were left to share with you. Okay, so we'll cover up that first and then move on. Okay. Now, in the last class, we had discussed to find the volumes, right? By using three methods, basically. We had used the disk method, the washer method, and the shell method. Okay, these are the three methods that we had used. But for all the three, what we did was that we obtained the volumes of the solids that were obtained by revolving the curve either about x-axis or about y-axis. Okay, so that means our standard axis of rotations were the coordinate axis, right? So that's why if I had any curve, so it was either being rotated about this or being revolved about this axis. Now the revolution could be about any line also. Like for example, supposing I have a curve, okay, sorry, supposing this curve again, this curve, the region enclosed between these two curves. And instead of revolving them about either the x-axis or the y-axis, what I do is I consider another horizontal axis and I revolve it around this. ये भी तो possible है, right? Or I consider any other vertical line here and I revolve it around this. Or I consider any vertical line here and I revolve it around like this. Okay. So what I mean to say is that your axis of revolution could be any line parallel to the coordinate axis. Okay. So in such cases, what you have to just understand it, see, formula is not going to change. The only thing that is going to change is what exactly are we doing? Like for example, in disk method, what are we looking at? The radius of the disk, the radius of the circle that is cutting it. So radius will be measured from where? The center, right? So if you are revolving the things around the coordinate axis, then your axis itself, they form the center. The points on this axis form the center, and therefore from there itself, you can calculate the radius. Like जैसे हमने कल उस दिन example किया था, say supposing we had this general curve and we had x equal to a and x equal to b as the bounds, and this was the region, right? So this was being rotated about the x-axis, right? So what did we do? We took the points here. हमने यहीं पे जब solid बन गया था पूरा हमारे पास, तो solid तो जो हमारी axis of revolution है, the solid would be present on both the sides here and here. So you have a similar curve here also. That is why when you take a disk, any point on the axis becomes the center, and the distance from the center to the curve, that defines the radius. Okay, but if you change your axis of revolution, right, so that means now you are not revolving about this line. You have defined a new line somewhere here. So what is happening? Your center does not lie on the x-axis now. Your center lies on this line. Okay, so when you measure the radius, see, if the radius was governed by this function, y equal to fx, okay, so that is why when you are measuring from the x-axis, yes, the radius is fx only, right? Because your x is being measured from this point to this point. But when you are measuring from here, that means what? That means you have translated your axis. Now this line becomes your x-axis. Okay. So accordingly, this distance, whatever is the line here, so supposing this line is y equal to -1. If this is the axis of revolution and not the x-axis, see, this x-axis is the line what? Y equal to 0. So when you are revolving about x-axis, you are revolving about the line y equal to 0. But when you are revolving about the line y equal to 1, that means whatever x was here, 1 unit has to be added in that x, so that this becomes your the new axis of revolution, so that you can measure your radii from this point. So that means your x has to get changed to x plus 1. Similarly, if you have something about y-axis, then accordingly things have to be changed. Similarly, say supposing this was in the the disk method, right? Same would be applicable in washer method, because in washer method also you are looking at the bigger radius and the smaller radius. Okay, so what we are doing there again is we just have to look into where are we making the changes, whether we are making changes in X or we are making changes in Y. Same logic will be applied in shell method, because in shell method we need two things. We need the height and we need the radius. Okay, so height is being governed by the functions. I mean, see again, इसमें भी क्या हो जाएगा? There are two things, height and radius, because they move in different directions. Different directions in the sense that if height is being measured along parallel to x-axis, then radius is being measured perpendicular to x-axis, right? So and vice versa. That depends upon where are we taking the revolutions, around y-axis or around the vertical lines or around the horizontal lines. Okay, so what you have to keep in mind is this only, that where do you have to make the additions when you are taking the in the radii only, in the height only, or in the radius only. So it all depends upon what is the axis, right? So even if when we are talking of a cylindrical shell, so your cylindrical shell could be this. Okay, so in this case, this is your height and this is your radius. So radius is along X, okay, and height is along perpendicular to that. Your cylindrical shells could be this also. So here your radii are along Y and height is along X. So that you have to identify. And it all depends upon what? The axis of revolutions. Okay, so what the logic to be applied there is this only, where you have to just measure the distance. Kitne distance? Obviously, जब हम इसमें कर रहे हैं, so even if we are revolving this around the line y equal to -1, obviously disk method cannot be used, क्योंकि already हमारा curve तो ये है, तो hollow तो बीच में हो ही गया, but then hollow is too big now, because यहाँ से यहाँ तक तो था ही, अब यहाँ से यहाँ तक भी हो गया. ठीक है, तो अब ये जो हॉलो हुआ, ये हॉलो ही तो हमारा आउटर रेडियस और इनर रेडियस डिफाइन करेगा ना, हमारा इधर भी आ रहा है. सो accordingly you have to identify how much would be your outer radius and how much would be your inner radius. Okay, so based on this, if you try out examples, kuch problem aayega to we'll discuss it later on, but then these are the examples that you can try from your book only. अब ये नई वाली edition में से बता रही हूँ. This is your example number 6 that you try, and then try your example number 6 from 5.2 and example number 3 from 5.3. Okay, so try these two examples. They in this case the axis of revolutions are not the coordinate axis but different lines. Okay, so try these two examples and I think you'll be able to understand. Fine. The next thing that I was, as I was saying, we need to do, we can obtain by using the concepts of integration, is we can find, see, you've all studied what is arc length, right? Now, see, whenever we have, in a way, three-dimensional solids with us, we do talk of volumes, as we have done, okay, and the volumes correspond to area. This is for two-dimensional curves and this is for three-dimensional solids. So what is area for curves is volumes for solids, okay. But then for solids or for three-dimensional solids that you have studied, you have also talked of surface area. एक और बात करी थी ना यहाँ पे, वॉल्यूम के साथ साथ we also find surface area. Now surface area is what? Now because they are three-dimensional solids, so obviously volume is the amount that they can contain, and surface area is what? The area which their boundary covers, right? And in two-dimensional curves, the term corresponding to surface area is the length of the curve, जिसको हम perimeter बोलते हैं. यही बोलते हैं ना इसको. We call it as the perimeter, or because perimeter normally we do it for, the symmetrical curves. So now if we have any curve, we'll call it as the length of the curve. Okay. So we know area. We've learned it by using integration. We have also learned how to find volumes by simple integration, single integration, right? Now what is left? How to find the length of the curve and how to find the surface area also. Okay, so this is also not a big deal. We just need to identify what kind of a curve is. See, logic wahi rahega. Say supposing I have this curve whose length I need to find. So this is my starting point A and this is my ending point B, from where I need to find. Obviously, ये curve मेरे कहीं ना कहीं XY plane में है. This A corresponds to the point x equal to A and this corresponds to the point x equal to B, and my curve is y equal to fx. Okay, so the logic says what? If you remember, I think this is how I learned how to find the perimeters. Circle का perimeter कैसे निकालते हो? You know the formula for the perimeter. 2 pi r. That is the formula. But उसका अगर हमें लॉजिक समझना हो तो कैसे समझते हैं? How do we find it? कुछ याद है उसका?
मैम जब मैम सर्किल होता है मैम उसको रेडियस मैम पूरा एंगल में मैम बार-बार मैम पूरा घूम रहा था.
छोटे बच्चे की तरह से सोचो. अगर सिखाया गया है, याद करो, पेरीमीटर का मतलब कैसे समझाया गया था?
मैम इट इज द लेंथ.
लेंथ. अब लेंथ कैसे निकालेंगे सर्कल की?
बाउंड्री.
ट्रेसिंग द बाउंड्री ऑफ सर्किल.
हाँ, तो अगर उसको एक लेमैन की लैंग्वेज में मुझे किसी ऐसे बच्चे को समझाना है जिसको मैथ्स नहीं आता, जिसको नहीं पता रेडियस क्या होता है, बस उसको ये समझाना है कि मुझे पेरीमीटर क्या होता है, तो उसको कैसे समझाते हो? बिल्कुल क्रूड लैंग्वेज में याद रखने के लिए कि पेरीमीटर क्या होता है, कैसे समझाते हैं उसको?
मैम यूजिंग ए थ्रेड.
यूजिंग अ थ्रेड. अब उसका मतलब क्या हुआ? उसका मतलब कि हमारे पास जो सर्कल था, जितना भी सर्कल बना, जितना बड़ा सर्कल बनाया, हमने उसके ऊपर एक थ्रेड रख के घुमाया, ठीक है? उसके बाद उस थ्रेड को उठाया और उसको स्केल पे मेजर कर लिया. यही मतलब हुआ ना पेरीमीटर का?
यस मैम.
लेंथ निकाली. बेसिकली हमने क्या करा? हमने जो भी हमारा कर्व्ड एरिया था, ठीक है, जो भी सर्कल इज अ कर्व्ड area, right? So what do we do? We are just converting those curves into lines so small that they are almost linear. तो इसमें भी तो हम वही कर रहे हैं. हम यहाँ पे एक थ्रेड रख सकते हैं, उसके बाद उसको मेजर कर लो, but then every time it's going to be cumbersome. We need to derive a formula for that. So what can we do? We break it into such small parts. मतलब पहले A to P1, P1 to P2, P3 and so on so forth. यहाँ पे कहीं हम Pn to B. Now these portions are so small that they are almost linear. Or this is very very understandable because tangent lines are nothing but linear approximations to the curves. मतलब अब देखो, जैसे अगर मेरे पास ये कर्व है, यहाँ पे मैं एक टेंजेंट लाइन ड्रॉ करती हूँ, ठीक है? अब इमेजिन करो कि हमारे पास हम जूम कर सकते हैं ना कोई भी पिक्चर को, बड़ा छोटा, ठीक है? इस पॉइंट पे अगर मैं कंसिडर करूं, ये पॉइंट सी है, ठीक है, जहां पे ये टेंजेंट है इस कर्व की, तो इस पॉइंट सी पे तो ये कर्व और ये लाइन बिल्कुल बराबर है because they are touching each other. Okay. Now the question is कि ये जो हम कह रहे हैं that the curve and the straight lines are almost same, this almost same can remain for how long? That means whether we move to C to the left or to the right of C. Thoda thoda. So what we can do is say, let's zoom in this curve, right? So what will happen is you will observe that for a very small fraction of values of x which are less than C and which are more than C, उसको मैं कह देती हूँ डेल्टा. इतना स्मॉल फ्रैक्शन C माइनस डेल्टा C प्लस डेल्टा, ये एक इंटरवल बन गया ना. यहाँ पे क्या लाई कर रहा है मेरा x. इस इंटरवल से अगर मैं ऑब्जर्व करूं तो मेरा फंक्शन यहाँ एटलीस्ट अभी दिखने में ही लग रहा है ना, यहाँ से यहाँ तक तो ऑलमोस्ट सेम है बिकॉज ये कर्व कर रहा है. बट जैसे ही मैंने इसको क्रॉस किया तो इसमें डिस्टेंस बढ़ गया कर्व और लाइन में. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे अगर मेरे को इसको स्टडी करना है तो मैं यहाँ दूसरी टेंजेंट ड्रॉ कर देती हूँ. तो इसका मतलब क्या हुआ? We can study curves with the help of straight lines. And what will be those lines? The tangent lines to that curve. That's why we call tangents as the linear approximations to the curve. We can approximate the curve with the help of a straight line. It's much more easier to study a straight line than a curve itself. So same logic we apply here. Okay, we split this curve into such small fractions which are almost linear. Okay, then what do? We measure the length L1, L2, L3 and so on. कितनी लेंथ्स आ गई हमारे पास? Ln. उसके बाद हम ऐड कर देते हैं. So your length of the curve will be what? L1 plus L2 plus Ln. Right? But then again, ये तो कर्व मेरा बहुत ही स्मूथ है. This is a continuous curve. It's a smooth curve. So even when we are even adding the lengths, even that has to be smooth. There should not be any portion of the curve left out. And when is that possible? When this addition is continuous. And what is a continuous addition? Integration. Are you getting the logic now? Okay. So that means somehow if I'm able to say sort of, get the formula for one such L1, okay, then what do I have to do? I just have to integrate from where? A to B. Okay, so using this logic, the formula to obtain the length of the curves have been derived. I mean, we don't have to go into the derivation part. We can just directly summarize how to obtain the lengths. Okay, so if your curve is y equal to fx type, okay, that means your y is explicitly expressed as a function of x. And this is a smooth curve defined on the interval AB, okay? Then the arc length or the length of the curve, which we denote by L, is given by integral A to B under the root 1 plus f dash x square dx. Okay, so that's why I said tangents will play an important role because it is these tangents that help us in approximating the curves with the help of straight lines. So this is how we get the arc length. Okay, similarly, if your curve is expressed as x equal to gy over the interval CD, then the arc length is given by, can you imagine what it would be? C to D. Now you have to integrate with respect to y. So it will be what? You have to differentiate also with respect to y. So g dash y square dy. So basically it's 1 plus dy by dx whole square, and it is 1 plus dx by dy whole square. Okay. So this is the arc length for Cartesian curves. This is how we obtain the Cartesian curves arc length. Similarly, if your curve is parametric, हमने तो हर तरह का curve पढ़ा है, right? So if I have parametric curves, say x equal to ft and y equal to gt, and you know that your t varies from t1 to t2. If this is your curve, okay, then also we can find the arc length here, and the arc length for this will be given by integral t1 to t2 under the root. One option is कि सिर्फ dy by dx ही निकाल लो and then you can do that, but then you will have to change the limits also in that case. Otherwise you can integrate with respect to t only, and it will be dx by dt whole square plus dy by dt whole square under the root of this and dt. Okay, polars we are not doing because we don't have to do them abhi. Maybe when required we'll do it. Okay, so these are the three formulae to find the arc lengths. In a similar manner, we can find the areas, the surface areas, which are also called as area of surface of revolution. देखो अब क्या हुआ था, हमने क्या करा कि जब हमने वॉल्यूम पढ़ा, ठीक है, से सपोजिंग दिस वाज y equal to fx bounded between x equal to a and x equal to b, right? इस region को, the area covered, see this was the area covered by the curve and these three lines, x equal to a, x equal to b, and the x-axis, right? When this solid portion of the curve or of this portion was revolved about x-axis, we got a solid and we could talk of its volume, right? Now see, forget about this area covered, just concentrate on this. Okay, अब imagine करो कि तुमने एक, it's like कि तुम्हारे पास एक बहुत ही, जैसे हमने पेपर लिया एक, उसको बहुत थिन एकदम से रोल किया, राइट? और उससे एक हमारे पास एक कर्व आ गया, या अगर हमने इसके ऊपर थ्रेड भी रखा, इस कर्व के ऊपर थ्रेड रखा, तो हमारे पास क्या आया, इस आर्क का लेंथ, राइट? नाउ इमेजिन दैट द थ्रेड दैट यू हैड केप्ट ऑन दिस is such that it can be opened, right? So that when a solid is generated and when you open that thread, what will it do? It will cover the outer portion of that solid, right? When this shaded region was revolved, we got the inside portion of the solid. And since it could be filled, that's why we talked of its volume. So it's not, but now what are you doing? You are generating a solid because surface एक revolution तो दे ही रहे हो तुम about x-axis. So you are generating a three-dimensional solid now. But now you are not interested in what is inside the solid. What you are interested is how is the outer surface behaving. Okay, and for outer surface, what can we do? We can find the area of the surface. ये निकालते ना, surface area का मतलब ही यही होता है. If you remember, याद करो वो प्रॉब्लम्स कर रहे हैं ना, आपने सिलिंड्रिकल टिन बनाया, राइट? उसको पेंट करने में कितने पैसे लगेंगे, राइट? तो जब उसको पेंट करने के लिए हम बात करते हैं, then what do we need? We need the outer surface. And what is that? That is why for that what you find is the surface area, right? So in a similar manner, जिस तरह से हमने पहले जो शेडेड पोर्शन था, जो कर्व के अंडर का एरिया था, उसको यूज करके वॉल्यूम निकाला, इसी तरह से अब हम आर्क लेंथ को यूज करके सरफेस एरिया निकालेंगे. इज दिस कंसेप्ट क्लियर? हाँ,
Yes, ma'am.
ओके. Okay. So for that, again, we are not going into the details of the derivations because they are not required. So I'll just give you the formula for that and the I mean, I was just trying to, explain the logic to you. So it's like, जैसे इसमें क्या हो रहा था कि हमारे पास हमने लेंथ कैसे निकाली थी, इसको स्प्लिट कर करके, ठीक है? अब हम क्या करेंगे कि जो हमने स्प्लिट करे हैं पोर्शंस, इन्हीं पोर्शंस को ही तो जब हम रिवॉल्व कर रहे हैं अबाउट एक्स एक्सिस, सो वी आर गेटिंग द पोर्शन वाइज सरफेस एरिया, this portion will generate some surface area, this portion will generate some another surface area, and so on and so forth. So using that logic, if your curve is y of the form y equal to fx, then, and of course it's a smooth curve bounded between x equal to a and x equal to b, then the surface area is given by integral a to b 2 pi fx under the root 1 plus f dash x square dx. Is that okay? And if your curve is of the form x equal to gy bounded between c to d, then the surface area is given by c to d 2 pi gy under the root 1 plus g dash y square dy. Okay? And in case you have parametric curves, that means you have x equal to ft, y equal to gt, and your t is bounded between t1 and t2, then the surface area is given by, of course, t1 to t2 2 pi ft under the root f dash t square plus g dash t square dt. Okay, so these are the three formulae for the surface area and the earlier three formulae for the length. Okay, so this covers your exercise 5.4 and 5.5. Okay.